Let's talk about Tua Tagovailoa and the Brian Flores comments. And if you're not familiar with what has been going on this week, Tua appeared on the Dan Le Batard show and didn't call Flores a bad person, but certainly alluded to the fact that he was a bad person. Flores would go on to talk in a press conference the next day, visibly upset, hurt, seemed very emotional, said that he's taken everything and grown. Let's start with Brian Flores, and Flores handled this situation insanely well. I don't know if he could have done it any better. He was upset, like I said, but he was calm, he expressed remorse, and he took the high road. And listen, this is a guy who should be an NFL head coach right now. Stuff like this is just going to be an owner's reason to continue to blackball him. And Flores should be expressing remorse because not everything that happened in Miami was his fault. Stephen Ross purposely tanking, Chris Breer and Stephen Ross seemingly vetoing him to draft Tua instead of Justin Herbert, or maybe going out and grabbing a different quarterback. That's stuff that was out of Flores' control. And he actually had success in Miami. That's why he should be a head coach right now. The problem is he did mess up quite a bit. The way he treated Tua was seemingly off-putting. You can't be letting stuff grow and develop and fester in your locker room like Deshaun Watson trade rumors, who Miami was clearly interested in for a long period of time. When all of the issues were going on, Deshaun Watson was viewed as one of the best quarterbacks in the league, a guy who was going to win multiple Super Bowls, and Tua was looking over his shoulder at not one of his teammates, but a guy in a different time zone. While Tua was looking over his shoulder for Deshaun Watson, he was also looking over his shoulder at somebody who was in the locker room with him. Ryan Fitzpatrick was caught in the middle of just an absolute crap show. They're 2-2. You know what? We're going to bench Ryan Fitzpatrick despite him looking excellent. The offense looks good. The team has a 500 record. This seems like they could do something. No, we're going to bench him for the rookie Tua. And then going back and forth. You can't pull a rookie quarterback after you put him in there. And I know that's such an overused term, but there's a reason why it is utilized so often in the media, because it's true. You're going to mess with somebody's confidence, and them going back and forth between Fitzpatrick and Tua did not help Tua's development at all. Tua's not innocent either, though. There's a reason why he was being pulled. He wasn't the quarterback that we saw at Alabama. He has been on the record saying that his first 2 years in the league, prior to Mike McDaniel, he was not prepared and familiar enough with the offensive playbook. If I'm Brian Flores, if I'm a head coach, I'm pissed off too. What are we doing? You're an NFL quarterback. You were the chosen one. People forget, tank for Tua was a thing. He was viewed as the guy. He was supposed to be the number one pick. Not Burrow, not Herbert, not Love, not Hurts, any of those guys. It was Tua Tagovailoa. And you're telling me he's not prepared? I'm going to be pissed too. Did Flores handle it the right way? No. But Tua deserves some of the blame here too. But Tua going on Dan Le Batard and just attacking another person's character is ridiculous. He was a tough coach. Did he handle things the right way? No. But take the high road. You're a franchise quarterback. You just got paid. The team's invested in you. They're confident in you. Now go do something on the field. And I like that Tua has a little bit more of a tough shell now. He's not as soft physically or mentally as what we seem to think he was a couple years ago. But how tough are you really? You weren't talking like this when people were still questioning you. You didn't do an interview and start attacking your former coach and puffing out your chest until after you got your contract. So maybe it's all a facade. Maybe you aren't as tough as you think. Maybe you are still just a soft little boy at the end of the day. And listen, I like Tua. I know that this is not necessarily a video that endorses that feeling, but what are you doing? You're in an incredibly competitive AFC East, a competitive AFC. You haven't won a playoff game. There's still a lot to do. It's time to dial in. Why are you just welcoming in distractions that aren't even relevant? He's not even in your conference anymore, and you're still talking about it. focus on the 2024 season, focus on staying healthy for a second consecutive season, and trying to take the Dolphins to the next level, because I don't know how many more wild card round losses Mike McDaniel can have before he gets the can. And then one final thing, I've seen people throw comparisons. How come Tua didn't have a problem with tough coaching at Alabama under Nick Saban? Both Saban and Flores come from that Bill Belichick tree. There's two major differences. One, Tua didn't have that many faults in the college game. The college game was slowed down. Tua was viewed as the guy. He was a top recruit. He was amazing. His welcome to the college football environment came in the college football championship, him scoring a touchdown, coming in for Hurts and relief. Tua was the man at Alabama. He hasn't been the man in the NFL. Another difference is, well, being a tough college coach is a lot different than being a tough NFL coach. You're going to get crucified in college just because you're a young kid. And the head coach, especially if you're Nick Saban, you're viewed as the czar. Everyone's getting a butt chewing. In the NFL, you're not going to see that as much. You're not going to see players just get murdered, because those players are getting paid more than the coach is. The coach isn't the czar. They're not the dictating ruler like they are in college. So just a little bit of a difference. But like I said, I like Tua and I like Brian Flores. Flores should be a head coach in the league, and I hope Tua and the Dolphins do good things this year. Just don't love the way he went about this in the Dan Le Batard interview at all.